writing pro-lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender books. Christian book publishers. I'll say it again. The United Church of Christ, with its 5,100 churches across America, is now supporting annual gay games in Ohio. United Methodist Church is granting same-sex benefits to its employees involved in same-sex marriages. Baptist churches are now holding gay weddings. Tony Campolo, a Christian leader, author, has not only changed his stance on homosexuality, he even recently stated, a new day is dawning in Christianity where he hopes all his fellow Christians lovingly welcome all gay and lesbians in the church. Quote, I have concluded that sexual orientation is almost never a choice, it's always a choice, just like any sin. You choose to become a thief, you choose to become a homosexual, you choose to become a liar, you choose to become whatever. That's what sin is. He says, and I have seen how damaging it can be to try to, quote, cure somebody from being gay. Really? That's in the church. The Episcopal Church has joined the Presbyterian Church, the United Church of Christ, and become another mainline denomination to embrace gay marriage rights, and has now officially axed, listen, man and a woman from their institution of marriage clause in their canon. In the church. Not the world, the church. Southern Baptists. Need another reason to leave? Danny Cortez from LA announced his change of mind on homosexuality and same-sex relationships. He acknowledged that his change at heart puts him in odds with the church's past confession of faith, but the church voted not to dismiss him and instead become a third-way church. That's a creative way of calling it an apostate church. Right? It's all denominations, folks. Soon after this, he was invited, shocker, to a gay pride reception at the White House with the president. And later he wrote, this is a huge step for a Southern Baptist church. Yeah, a huge step in apostasy. Right? Speaking of huge steps, for the first time in history, a national Christian denomination, the United Church of Christ, is suing the state of North Carolina to allow gay marriage. The church is suing the state and saying, you've got to allow this. The church. Another first, church in England, they're now considering transgender baptism services to, quote, bless into God's family the new identities of Christians who've undergone gender transition. Washington National Cathedral not only hosted a transgender priest celebrating LGBT month, but Gary Hall, the chief ecclesiastical leader and executive officer of the National Cathedral, said, and I quote, homophobia and heterosexism is a what? A sin. So God's standard is now a sin. That's how twisted it's become. Not just in the world, in the church. And this just recently happened. Let me give you a couple headlines. A Chicago preacher leads a sermon in drag. That's an Episcopal church. Just recent headlines. And this was just 2 weeks ago. Watch this one. Methodist Church first drag queen pastor. Quote, God is nothing. A gender-bending minister for the nation's third largest denomination said, queerness is divine. That was 2 weeks ago. Do you see a pattern here? Gates, you bought into this twisted love. Well, we just got to love these people. And yeah, we love them, but we don't compromise the truth. But you accepted that, and you thought it was going to stop there. Bang, 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 bang. All that you saw here and what you're seeing right now. This is depraved mind in action. Now, again, what you're seeing is that these guys are hypocritical, right? Right? Their version of a hate crime, if ever there was something hateful, that was it, right? And you better listen to what Jesus, and dare I say these churches are convinced they're doing the right, quote, loving thing. They are accepting behavior, okay, that God condemns. That's also hypocrisy, right? Jesus has strong words for those. For religious leaders who are hypocrites. And here's what he says. I'll give you a couple of verses. Matthew 5:29. If your right eye causes you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. It's better for you to lose one part of your body than your whole body to go into where? Into hell. Mark 9:43. If your hand causes, Jesus speaking, hand causes you to sin, what do? Cut it off. It's better for you to enter life maimed than to have two hands and go into hell where the fire never goes out. Mark 9:45. And if your foot causes you to sin, cut it off. It's better for you to enter life crippled than to have 2 feet and be thrown into hell. What's Jesus say? Hey, you got to take sin serious. Because if sin isn't dealt with through the forgiveness of Jesus Christ on the cross, preaching the truth of the gospel, which is what all of us need, no matter what sin you're involved in, you end up where? In hell. And these people say, no, we don't even talk about sin, and we actually affirm and accept sin and promote sin. And Jesus says, you better cut it off. And it gets worse. He says to these people, Matthew 23, woe to you, teachers of the law and you Pharisees, Think of the church today that's condoning this. You hypocrites. You travel over land and sea to win a single convert. And when he becomes one, you make him twice as much a son of hell as you are. Could it be these people that are doing this are like James is saying, they're fakers? Because how do you do this? I mean, I know we Christians can make some big mistakes and we can act like non-Christians sometimes. But how do you promote something like this and say it's perfectly fine? Or maybe that's the problem. You're in danger of hell even though you're behind the pulpit or you're on a church board or whatever promoting all this or head of a denomination because you don't know Christ either.